Before you start today's vocabulary lesson, you'll need paper, a pen or a pencil, your Wordly-Wise workbook, or you can click the link on the Teams assignment and print it out. Optionally, if you have scissors and you'd like to be able to quiz yourself on your vocabulary words, you can cut your paper into 20 rectangular boxes. Write the term on one side of the paper and the definition on the back. That way you could play with yourself a game where you are learning your words. You'll still need to do the sentences on a different piece of paper. As we've been working on word work, I realized that some of you were not using the words correctly in a sentence. That usually tells me that you haven't heard how it's supposed to sound in a sentence. So for this week, we're going to mix it up a little. I'm first going to tell you the definition and the terms, and you can write those down. Then I'm going to use the word in a sentence. That way you can hear how it's supposed to sound when it's used correctly. Finally, you're going to make your own sentence. When you're done using your sentence, I want you to check for capitals, punctuation, and that each sentence is a complete thought. We're going to get more practice on our sentences being grammatically correct. Then take a picture of your sentences and upload it in your Teams assignment. The first word to write down is analyze. To analyze is to break down into separate parts in order to study. Analyze. Experts who analyze writing say Mrs. Shoup's students will become nonfiction writing experts at the end of the unit. The next term is analysis, an examination of the whole in order to examine its various parts. Here's analysis used in a few sentences. Chemical analysis of the rock showed that it contained uranium. Analysis of the rock showed that he is mostly muscle. Take a few seconds to write your own sentence using the word analysis. Apprehensive, worried or uneasy about what might happen. How it sounds in a sentence. Talking about COVID-19 made the students feel apprehensive. Neil was apprehensive that students would copy his Zoom renaming skills all year. Write your own sentence now using the word apprehensive. Apprehension, worrying about what might happen. Dread. Here's how it sounds in a sentence. Tyson, Arv, and Xavier were filled with apprehension when the governor closed schools for the remainder of the year because they knew they would be bored. The next word is coincide, to be in the same place or occur at the same time. Here it is in a sentence. Earth Day coincides with my husband's birthday, April 22nd. The next word is coincidence, occurrences that seem related but are connected only by chance. Here's coincidence used in a sentence. Is it just a coincidence that two classmates, Neil and Ella, have the same last name? The next term is compose. Notice that it has 3 different definitions. I'll read each and you need to write all 3 definitions. 1. To make by combining. 2. To create or write as a song or a poem. 3. To quiet or calm. For definition 1, the sentence for composed would be, The girls in class are composed of sugar and spice and everything nice, and chemical X. For definition 2, Sophie composed a piano song that was so beautiful, unicorns appeared. For definition 3, compose yourself before you take a turn speaking in a Zoom meeting. You're going to need to write a sentence for each type of definition. The next term is disc, any thin circular object. Here's disc used in a sentence. The checkers pieces were small plastic discs. Ask your parents if floppy disks were actually thin round circles. The answer might surprise you. The next term is envelop. Notice there's no E on the end. This is not envelope. Envelop, to hide or cover on all sides. Here's envelop used in a sentence. The fog enveloped Lauren and Nella so quickly they couldn't see where they were going. The next term is exist, to be real, to be found or to occur, and to stay alive. Because there are 3 definitions for exist, I will use exist in 3 different sentences. When you create your own sentences, you'll need to use all 3 different definitions. Did the lost world of Atlantis really exist? Sam thought it was possible that aliens existed somewhere in the universe. Rebecca was sure she could not exist without her COVID-19 snacks. Go ahead and write your own sentences using exist. Extraordinary, unusual or remarkable. Here's extraordinary in a sentence. It may not be his favorite subject, but Zizia is good at math because of his extraordinary ability to solve complex math problems accurately. The next term is fuse, to join together by or as if by melting. Here it is used in a sentence. Heat from the fire fused the metal parts of Iron Man's suit into a solid piece. He had to solve that problem on his next prototype. Write your own sentence using the word fuse. The next term is fusion, a fusion or joining together. Here's how it sounds in a sentence. An alloy is made by the fusion of 2 or more metals. The next term is mere, meaning nothing more than only. Here's how it sounds in a sentence. Ehan said, "Let's run. It's a mere mile to the grocery store." The next term is revolve, to go around something in a circle, or to turn around in a circle. Let's hear it in a sentence. Ryan's fun trick was to have one hand revolving around his head, while the other hand patted his stomach. The term scale has 6 different definitions. You do need to write all 6 definitions. A scale is any of the hard, thin scales that cover a fish or reptile, a series of musical notes that go higher and higher, an instrument for measuring weight, the way a map or model compares the size of the thing it stands for, a series of steps, degrees, or stages, to climb or climb over. You can pause the video now if you need more time to write all of the definitions for scale. You'll need to write 6 different sentences using scale appropriately for each definition. Here's an example of what it sounds like for each type of scale. The dragon had scales so sharp they could cut through armor. Xavier, Neal, and Arab sang scales while Ella played scales on her kazoo. Would we weigh more than a ton if we all stepped on a scale at the same time? The scale model on the map showed that each 1-inch line equaled a mile. On our grading scale, a 4 is the highest level of achievement. Uh-oh, your cat just scaled the fence and is now eating the neighbor's dinner. Go ahead and stop the video right now so that you can write your own sentences for each definition of scale. The next term is solar, of or having to do with the sun. How it sounds in a sentence. We had solar panels on our house in Utah because it was sunny. We don't have solar panels on our house in Washington because it rains so much. Trace has 4 different definitions, so pause the video at the end so that you can write each of the 4 definitions. Trace, a very small amount, a mark or sign left behind by something or someone, to follow the trail or tracks of, to locate, to copy by following the lines of a drawing on thin paper. Here's how trace sounds in each of those types of sentences. There was a trace amount of drool left on her desk after Mrs. Shute fell asleep during class. Ehan waved his magic wand, and Lauren disappeared without a trace. Sam and Sija traced Lauren's steps to see if they could find where she went. Sophie had Nella lie down on the ground while she traced around her in chalk. Go ahead and stop the video now so that you can write a sentence for each type of the word trace. The last word is velocity, rate of movement, speed. Here's how it sounds in a sentence. Due to the velocity of Ryan, Rebecca, and Tyson's skateboards, we were sure they would crash.